Okay, so I'm making this video because I have a lot of very, very frustrated feelings right now. So I just got back from GeekCon this last Saturday. I was there, and obviously, like, assuming a lot of you guys are my followers and friends watching this, you know that I usually I'm really into cosplaying Homestuck right now and everything. And I know the Homestuck fandom gets a really bad rep for a lot of the behavior and just like crazy personalities and just people acting really ridiculous and rude. Well, I had gone to meetups for a while in the Chicago community and, frequent Tumblr a lot, and I've been going to conventions since I was like 15, and, over the last year that I've been into Homestuck, I had never really met much of that kind of behavior, and I figured it was people just kind of, um, you know, picking out the worst people in the fandom until a couple of recent cons that I went to this year. Now, I'm not saying that I think the Homestuck fandom is like any worse than any other fandom. I really think that it comes down to just it being such a big fandom and so many people into it. Like, the more people are into a fandom, like, the more, like, people you're going to get that are like that. So anyway, two of the conventions I went to this year, they were smaller ones. There was one near Chicago, Anime Midwest, and then there's one in Madison we just went to, GeekCon. And at both of these conventions, there was a lot of that really inappropriate behavior going on. And I guess, I don't know, I'm just making this video just for, like, people to see this. I'm sure, I know people talk about it a lot, but it is not okay to act like that at conventions. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't understand convention etiquette. You don't treat anybody at a convention how you wouldn't treat somebody if you're at the supermarket or something like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I just know, like at the convention we just got back to, the Terezi cosplayer I was with was being harassed by people. There was a cosplayer who hugged her without asking and tried to pull her to the ground. And my friend and I twice with that same person had to step in and tell them to back off and leave her alone. They didn't seem to get the message. She was afraid to go up to take pictures in the photo shoot because of the way some of the people were acting. And that is not okay. Like, it's really not okay for people to act like that. There's a lot of really touchy behavior and that kind of thing. If you want to hug somebody or something at a convention, that's fine, but you need to ask consent first. And realize, like, how you're acting people. Don't try to tug somebody to the ground. Don't pick people up. Don't do those kinds of things, especially not without consent. It's extremely rude, and it's frustrating. Also, I think people need to learn to be a little more respectful to people trying to run panels and run photo shoots. I I had to yell at people at the photo shoot. The girl who was running it was trying to get everyone's attention to take pictures, and nobody was listening. Everybody was talking until finally I screamed at everybody, telling them they needed to be respectful and they needed to listen because this girl's trying to run a photo shoot, and I'm very vocal. I can get really loud, so everybody listened after that. But it was really rude. I mean, they knew she was trying to run a photo shoot and nobody was paying attention. And then even at the panel, people were really, like, the three people who were running the panel did a fabulous job. If either of you guys see this, like, I think you did great. You kept things under control really well. But there was people, like, there was somebody who was sitting behind us who kept yelling things during the panel, and I guess there was an update, and then people started checking in on their phones and yelling update spoilers and stuff, and, like, that's not appropriate. I mean, they shouldn't have even been, checking the update on their phone. Like, yes, I know it's exciting. Everybody loves updates. We're all Homestuck fans, but you can wait. They were trying to run a panel, and it was extremely rude and extremely disrespectful for these people to be pulling open their phones and checking the update and yelling about it while there was these, three poor people trying to run this panel and doing an amazing job at it. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, how rude they're being when they do that. Like, you need to wait. Like, you can wait till the panel's over to check your phone for the update, You don't need to be yelling stuff, Like, you wouldn't act like that if you were in school or something, You don't just start yelling things in class. And I just think that I think a lot of people don't get it, and I think that's the problem, is people don't get that they're acting that way. We also had some problems with, like, at the photo shoot. This wasn't Homestuck people, but I don't think it matters what fandom you're in. You shouldn't be acting this way. There were some people who started throwing candy at the people in the photo shoot, and they definitely got an earful from me for that, because you don't ever throw things at people at conventions. At Anime Midwest, I heard there was a car cat who got a bucket thrown at her, and I've heard that happening at several conventions. Don't ever throw something at somebody. I don't care if it's a plushie or if it's a bucket or what you're throwing. That's just so not appropriate to do. You're going to hurt somebody. That's degrading. Like, would you want something thrown at your head? I don't think so. And even if you were like, oh, I want to give candy to these people at this photo shoot, throwing it is not the right way to do it. Anyway, I just, like, have a lot of really frustrated feelings from people acting that way, and I just kind of wanted to get it out. Maybe some people who were at the convention will see this and understand why their behavior was inappropriate. I'm sorry if I should specify, I was dressed as Car Cat, what I usually cosplay, and I was there with Vriska and Terezi and Araxi. I'm sorry if I might have seemed kind of rude or angry at the photo shoot or to anybody who was there. I was just frustrated with the inappropriate behavior going on. I promise I'm actually a really nice person. But I just think that most people aren't going to speak up against it, and someone has to. So I just hope that some people might see this, or other videos people have made. I've seen plenty of people talk about this subject and just understand, like, always ask for consent before touching people. Don't throw things. If someone's trying to run a photo shoot or run a panel, please be respectful of those people. If you have a question, raise your hand. Don't shout, don't act that way. Anyway, that's about all I had to say.